You should be able to see it. If I'm doing other stuff, it shouldn't affect it. All right, PTS Patch Notes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You need clarification or anything, just, you know, we're gonna ask. But, so this is the Shadow over Mordor adventure line. I think it's called, like, Scribes of something. I don't remember. We get 2 new dungeons and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, Scribes of Fate. 2 new dungeons, new item sets, blah, 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 blah. Some updates. Combat and abilities. Ooh, we do get some changes. Get some changes, boys and girls. Let's go through it. 2 new dungeons. We knew that. There are unique skins, unique memento, new unique tool. Interesting. Tools are interesting. New sets. We already knew about these. Healing an ally. The direct heal. It increases. Creates a tether. Are healed. And they gain minor heroism. That's kind of cool. If this is not big enough, let me know and I will increase the size. Patch notes. But I feel like it should be. Nyx's Howl, which is completing a fully charged, puts 1 second per 1,000 weapon damage. That's interesting that it's weapon and not weapon and spell damage. Why do I feel like it should be weapon and spell damage? Anyways, Tolvani Enforcer, while bracing, you increase your magic recovery. When you're not bracing, increase your magic recovery by 369. The problem is that it doesn't have much good other stats. Like, here's some stamina, health, and magicka. Like, I could probably find a better set than this. So I don't think that's going to get used. I don't think this is going to get used. This could find some use. I don't know. The light rune carvers, your effects on the 3rd damage tick, this damage, if this is actually the 3rd or if it's every 3rd, that's a big difference. So this is worth testing. Rune Carver's Blaze might be usable. Acrophil Inspiration. You and group members within 20 meters gain major fortune, major intellect, major endurance, increasing the health recovery, magic recovery, and stamina by 30%. This might have a place in group play in PvP and PvE, because if you have one person that's like you're centered around and doing that, your potions can be other stuff, which can be huge in PvE or PvP. I mean, especially Abyssal Brace, stamina, health. When you're bracing, everyone gets minor evasion. Not really that great. Oh, I forgot the monster mask up here. Wait, where was it? Oh, that is the monster map. This is it. Yeah, okay. Each second you're in combat, you gain a stack of Dark Light up to 30 stacks max. Each stack increases your stamina, magic, and health recovery by 8. So 240. I don't know. That's okay. There's probably better things to do. Let's see. That's 129 magic recovery. This is the other one. Overhealing yourself or an ally grants armor for 1 second. Having yourself and healing yourself or an ally grants them major vitality for 1 second, increasing. So this actually does 2 different things. This is really interesting. If they are full health, you're going to grant them armor, so they're going to take less damage on that next hit. If you heal them, you get major vitality for 1 second. So if you have a rolling tick on someone and they're taking damage, they're constantly getting that minor vitality, healing them, increasing their healing rate by 8%. This is actually a really good PvP healer mass set. Ridiculously good value, because it's not, if you're only doing one thing. Hey, Spoon. I honestly think that this is like going to be a really great healer mass set, because if you're overhealing, you get something out of it. If you're if they're taking damage and you're healing, you get something out of it. 1 second of minor vitality means that basically if you have something going off every tick, they're constantly getting that minor vitality because there is no cooldown. So they're going to constantly get that 8% on the next heal, the next heal, the next heal, the next heal, and they're probably getting a couple heals every second. And then, like I said, they get the armor, which 4,200 is not a lot. But we're just going over the set so far. We haven't gotten anywhere. These are all things you know, Karian, so you don't have to worry. Unless you weren't aware that there are new dungeons, which, right? No, overhealing does not count for the minor vitality because it says healing yourself, and that is different than overhealing. So that's why I'm saying like this is a really good set, because if you're overhealing, they get armor, which great. They don't need the minor vitality if they're being overhealed. The armor is actually better. It's not a lot, but it's better. The minute you start healing them, and remember, if you have a dot going off on them, the second they get damaged, that minor vitality kicks in, which is really cool. So it's actually a really great healing focused monster mass set for bigger groups. I don't know if you'd really run it in a small man group, but it is a cool set. I like that it does different things based on their health state. It's cool. It's probably the coolest set out of all of them. New furnishings from doing I think it's on any difficulty. So a new Dark Elf Archway, Cragworm Podium, new titles. Shadow Blessed is kind of cool. Curator's Champion. Okay, here we go. The daily reset timers. Many daily reset timers have been aligned to the same time as the daily login. That's 10 a.m. UTC for North America. Activity finders first, daily participation and wins, daily enlightenment experience gains, daily quests and endeavors. Okay, so for us in PvP, that means that our daily quest won't reset until the morning, which actually is kind of better for us, I think, because we do all our Cyrodiil stuff, and then you don't have to worry about accidentally doing one that night and not having anything the next day. And also all our dailies will have time to do them at night. Daily writs and hiring mails, that's cool. The crafting hireling rank 3 passives, which used to send 12 hours after the last one, will now send daily with double the materials. That's nice. So you only get it once, but you get twice as much in each mail. A variety of other miscellaneous items, including writing skill, training, defense, launder limits, and remain silent. Okay, so now your writing skill training. Oh, there's a lot of cool stuff we're going to go over here in a second. This is cool because now it's a daily thing. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to time yourself. But the next one, several weekly timers have been realigned to reset on Sundays at the same time as daily resets, including trial, solo, and battleground weekly boards. Weekly quests and endeavors. Guys, this is the DRS, DSR, DRS, whatever it is, the new one which we're doing, now resets Sunday. We don't have to worry. We can pick a day and just do it whenever. We don't have to time it anymore as soon as this patch goes live. All right, here we go. The new Rewards of the Worthy sets. These are the ones we all care about. Snake in the Stars Light Armor. 2, adds Magic Recovery, adds Max Magicka, adds Weapon and Spell Damage. Applying a major or minor debuff to an enemy, apply Stars Venom to them for 6 seconds. Oh, this is one of the ones we saw. This isn't... Okay. Okay, so they showed us some of these. When an enemy with Stars Venom is healed, they take 2,848 Oblivion damage. Okay, it's not Daedric anymore. It says Oblivion. Up to once per second. An enemy can only be affected by 1 instance at a time. The other one is the Medium, which was the all offensive penetration. When an enemy blocks one of your attacks, increase your offensive penetration by 631 for 5 seconds. This can stack up to 20 times. You gain 1 stack every 0.5 seconds. I don't know how much that's going to be used, but it's still going to be good. Judgment of Akatosh, which I don't think we saw. Adds weapon and spell damage, max health, adds armor on the 5th piece, and when you deal direct damage with a blink, charge, leap, teleport, or pull ability, you distort time on your enemy. After 3 seconds, the enemy bursts with temporal energy, reducing the movement speed of all enemies within 12 meters by 70% for 6 seconds and stunning them for 3 seconds. This effect can be blocked and can occur once every 15 seconds. That's a new rush combo, yes. Because it's delayed by your CC timer. No, they don't get slowed until 3 seconds after. So you rush, you put some other kind of CC on them instantly. By the time that CC timer ends, this one goes off. You can set yourself up to have a CC after the CC. So like this would be a rush dark convergence. Yeah, rush roots, rush dark convergence, if you can do something like that. And then this would go off. And the enemy, when you deal direct damage, that was really smart. So if they hadn't put on the direct damage, then Lotus Fan and the critical rush, the other one that does the AoE, would put it on multiple people at once and would be so strong. Imagine you put it on like 12 people with one rush, and it'll send like 12 of them run out and stun everyone. That's going to be a set that gets used. I have a feeling it's a really good. It is cool that it can be blocked. So if you're already blocking when you get rushed and you hold on that block, you'll block the effect, but other people won't block potentially, and they'll get hit by it. So that's cool. I think this is one of the coolest sets that we're getting added. New alignments. Emblem face markings can be acquired by associated alliance PvP achievements. Cool. New homes. We saw the lighthouse. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like homes normally, but that one, I fucking love lighthouses, so I might get that one myself. Furnishings. The new has new 7 furnishing plans. Some cool stuff: Daedric Throne, Resonance Crystal, Daedric Oven, Mage Tapestry, Stone Lava Etched, Statue Bronze Tentacle. They probably should not have stuck this in here, and we're going to see some terrible, terrible home things with this. But they had to have known what they were getting into. Druidic Bridge, Living. That sounds cool. And then a bunch of other stuff is moving around because that's how the furnishing works. They talked about the housing quality of life things, so we're not going to jump into that too much. But basically filters, you can reset training dummies so you can do like a combo and then stop. That's kind of nice. You'll be able to see who's in there. You can be notified when they leave, enter, whatever, and you can just kick them out too. So like they said, you can play the Bachelor or whatever, Survivor, Spoon, you're gonna make a Survivor home for us, and we can do Survivor IO. New accessibility stuff, more narrations, all that kind of stuff. Software occlusion culling is now available as an optional graphic optimization. Enabling this feature will prevent the game client from performing rendering calculations for objects that are completely hidden from view by other objects. Doing so can provide a performance boost at the cost of additional memory usage. Dude, I already have so much memory being eaten by this game, and you want to tell me that you're gonna use more? Okay, you can test this feature. Okay. Let's see. Help the prologue quest. You get a new emote. That's cool. Let's see. Template information. Providing to. In addition, okay, so they're just adding some stuff to it, not a big deal. Comedians currently have VO lines about dragons when referring to the Cartlex and Scrimmer Hall. Okay. That's in, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but okay. Ability, there are some issues with concentrated barrier not functioning properly in some cases with the new rules to block and bar swap. This is in the process of being fixed. Okay. Combat and gameplay, the thing we all give a shit about the most. Dude, I don't have my water, whatever. While the first update of this year has quite a few bugs and minor tweaks, our main focus was on some iterative work from Update 35. And some long time coming reworks to abilities or traits that have languished in weird states of balance. Nightblade's being fixed. I'm telling you, I'm super excited. For a while, the update is more targeted with its adjustments rather than widespread, following some of the remnant work we've hinted at in the past. The largest, widespread adjustment in this update is some iterative work on Update 35's adjustments to light attacks. One of our main goals was to reduce the impact of light attack weaving in the terms of high-end damage production, where it is a vital tool to incorporate while simultaneously trying to shorten the delta between those who try and engage with it and those who are masters with it. I don't agree with that, but whatever, that's their goal. Through the toils of that update, we learned a lot, but to make some compromises that hurt our overall goals, where the end result was just a flat nerf to light attacks and weaving in general. Good job. In this update, we're trying to keep the power of light attacks within a 5% deviation of the highest production in an optimized build, while drastically increasing their performance for players who aren't super optimized. We're also implementing a new feature on old damaging light attacks where their scaling calculations of how they derive their damage will be inflated compared to before, with a cap in how much they can reach with base stats such as weapon and spell damage in Magicka and Stamina. This base cap damage, or base damage cap, will be 3,850 for melee attacks and 90% of that for range attacks, which is 100 to 200 damage deviation from the base damage of some of the highest parses we are seeing in the game. Note that this base damage cap is not a cap in how much damage they can do in general. This number is purely how much the damage can reach with your stats, such as weapon or spell damage. The base damage cap will then feed into the rest of the combat calculations with such things as critical bonuses, damage bonuses, mitigation, and so on. So that 3,850 can still return much higher value in actual combat situations. Now, that's good because that means that we can see, well, this is light attacks, so they're not even saying about heavy attacks. After going over that data that started to come through with U35 and U36, we're confident that this functionality will help inject a little power to the players who struggle with perfect weave by inflating their damage values a bit while not having too much impact on the high-end ceiling. So everyone's DPS can go up or stay around the same as it was from the previous updates. We'll be keeping a close eye on the changes, and we're ready to adjust or revert to the U35 model if it ends up creating too many issues. So please make sure to provide feedback while testing this on the PTS. All right. Let's see. Outside of this adjustment, we have some of the usual balance tweaks for sets and abilities, but two in particular. First, we've reworked the Harmony trait to no longer be burst-oriented and more about what the trait's name and gameplay tries to incentivize. Sustain and group coordination. Oh, that's changing big. This trait will simply grant a chunk of health, magicka, and stamina anytime you activate a synergy. Well, Harmony rip. Rip Harmony bombers. GG. Another oh boy, another large rework is for the infamous Mistform skill in the Vampire line. As a result, all of the back and forth issues and balance changes we've seen with this skill evolution through the game's history. With this rework, we try to go back to the drawing board about what the fantasy and identity of the skill is trying to evoke, which is meant to be the iconic feeling of blinking into mist and avoiding attacks, dashing around from foe to foe and taking them down or avoiding damage in the process. In this update, Mistform is no longer a toggled effect or one that reduces your damage while active or causing you to become immune to crowd control. Instead, it focuses on quick and liberating movement, causing you to quickly travel to your target location as a gap closer while simultaneously avoiding incoming projectiles while you do so. Rip Mistformed EKs, rip Mistformed Templars. I'm not complaining. Another area of note is some quality of life updates to abilities and functions for those who are the vanguard of combat, the lifeblood of success or failure. Tanks! It's Ball of Lightning for everyone. Yes, except probably not as good. We'll get into what it actually reads here. In this update, we've made 3 changes that should hopefully help make those holding the line feel more empowered to do so. First, block will no longer temporarily drop while bar swapping and instead will stay active throughout. Biggest fucking change ever. God damn, I'm so happy for that. So many times you bar swap and you die. The second is that taunt immunity while over taunting will now be harder to reach. It will take 5 applications of a taunt between 2 members in total before reaching up from 3, which should give a bit more breathing room in multi-boss encounters. Also very fucking nice. Last but not least is the new iteration of the soft taunt system that a pull ability such as Fiery Grip or Silvery Leash had. Instead of soft taunting the enemy's first 5 seconds of attacks, They will now attempt to normally taunt any enemy that is not already taunted. It is our hope that this interaction keeps these abilities for a tank and not support, where tank can control the enemies more. Before you ask, though, the area of effect pulls like Dark Convergence, Rush of Agony, and Void Patch will not be affected by these changes. These are okay. I like those tank changes. Of course, this is by no means an exhaustive list. A few are small adjustments to skills, such as increasing the shield efficiency and scaling of Conjuring Ward, and it's more for Sork lovers. Fuck. Sorks get bigger shields. And some that grant Empower. Oh, good. And some ability iterations on skills that grant Empower. For you, the hybrid stat lovers out there, we have a small tweak to physical and spell harm jewelry that you've been asking for. They combine those, I bet. All right, here we go. Fix an issue where sneak attacks, the stun from successful sneak attacks could trigger off other events such as item sets. Fix an issue where these are all fixed issues. Updated these. Let's get into some like real stuff. This is the light attack stuff. Oh, Werewolf gets it up to 4,813. Yeah. To further explain what's happening with these attacks, let's create an example experience with everyone's favorite subject, math. I know you guys are groaning, and Az is over there like furiously excited in the corner, and we're calling the cops. Let's say you have a character that has 6,000 weapon and spell damage, and 33,000 magic and stamina. In update 35 and 36, your light attacks would take 35%. Oh my god, they're actually spelling out the math. That's kind of cool. 35% of your weapon and spell damage, and 3.33 repeating of your... Who the fuck does that? Why would you say repeating? Why not just make it 3.34 and call it a day? Or 3.33. Of your magicka or stamina on a melee light attack, and 90% of those values for ranged. In this example, before any bonuses, your base damage would be 3,200. And they're going to scale this up to 3,850. As this, why don't I'll get to the vampire thing and then we can see what they really say. As the stat addition base cap will kick in, keep in mind that this does not impact the... I mean, you guys can talk about it. I don't give a shit. I'm just saying we'll get there. Before you mines a 2 metal, basically, yeah, they're increasing light attack numbers, and there's some math. It doesn't really matter for most things. Fix numerous issues where attacks were missing invisible targets when they should not have been. Affected are burning and poison status effects. Fuck. Lady Melita, Fiery Breath, and Morphs. That's nice. Impaling Shards and Morphs first tick. Bar swapping while you hold block no longer does it. Abilities that pull... Oh yeah, this is the soft trigger stuff. Made some adjustments to taunt from player source abilities such as Puncture or Iterate to improve their user experience. Enemies will now only become taunt immune. Yeah, we already know that. Balance, buffs and debuffs. Added 2 new help entries under combat. Okay, that's not really big. Dark Knight, Ardent Flame. Fiery Grip, Empowering Chains of Devastation. This morph now... What the fuck? 10 seconds of my major berserk rather than Empower? As Molten Armaments already grants it much more... Oh my god. DK buff. Fuck, 10 seconds of major berserk on chains? That's good. Lava Whip, fix an issue where this morph could fail to activate many conditional requirements. Okay. That's not bad. Necromancer, Skeletal Archer, fix an issue where the damage buff boost from this morph would fail to apply. Boneyard, reduce the damage of the synergy by 47% to ensure it's of similar powers of other synergies. Bone Tyrant, Death Gleaming, this passive now restores more from 100 to 200. Just, okay, nothing there. Sorceress, Conjured Ward, increase the damage shield size of this ability and the regeneration warp by 10%. Increase the max health cap of these abilities by 55, up from 50. This ability now in its morphs now dynamically scale between the higher of your max health or max magicka, rather than only max magicka. Oh, that's interesting. So having low health will make these shields not as good. That's interesting. Hardened Ward increases the damage size of the shield by approximately 7%, and increase the max health cap to 72% from 60%. Sork tanks strong. Regenerative Ward. Rename this morph to prevent confusion with the buff type. Okay. Shields are a primary defensive identity for a sword class, but since the class has struggled to keep up defensively, and I think we've all talked about that. In ways that help reinforce this, we're trying to make targeted adjustments to the core class shield to make them stand out above others. Depending on how much they buffed it, it may be good enough. Summon Unstable Familiar, fix some issues with this. Mage's Fury, increase the size of the area of effect portion of this ability in its morphs up to 5 meters from 4. Yeah, Stamsork high HP use shield. That is going to be really strong on them. Fixed an issue where execute damage from these abilities was not properly labeled as an execute. Mage's Wrath. This morph now deals its execute damage to all target nearby rather than dealing an initial hit in a smaller. This was up. What? Mage's Wrath just got boosted so hard. It now deals execute to everyone it hits. It's not like, okay, you hit one guy and they all get a little damage. It's like, hey, we all get the execute. Best fucking AoE execute in the game now. Jesus Christ. Don't even bother anymore with spin to win. Just fucking spam that. Oh my god. Overload. Fix an issue where this ultimate and its morph would not remove themselves when heavy attacking with just enough ultimate for one tick. Okay. Templar Radial Sweep is now everlasting. Increase the duration to 10 from 6 seconds. This no longer grants Empower, as Solar Flare and its morph already grant this buff. As such, the name has been adjusted to prevent confusion. Dawn's Wrath. Backlash fixed an issue where this ability and Purifying Light were considered magical melee damage rather than magical range damage. Note the Power of Life was already considered martial range damage and has not changed. Eclipse Living Morph fixed an issue where this ability's visuals could cause you to appear invisible in some cases. That's it. Nothing changed on Templar, really. They got one buff with Everlasting Sweep. Animal Companions died. Cutting Morph. This morph no longer requires the enemy to not be off balance for the damage over time to play, and it will now apply it anytime it deals damage. Okay. Winter's Embrace, Crystallized Shield. This ability and Shimmering Shield now grant 2 ultimate when the shield takes damage, rather than restoring Magicka equal to 22% of the ability's cost. Increasing the cost of this morph to 4,320 from 3,780. Reduce the shield strength of this ability and the Shimmering Shield by 33%. Crystallized Slab. This morph no longer grants Magicka or the new ultimate Restore when the shield takes damage. In exchange for the damage done in stun, this morph does retain the original size of the damage shield. Reduce the damage per hit of this morph by approximately 33%. Currently, this ability and its morphs are providing too much defensive power for Warden against ranged opponents while simultaneously allowing them to keep up with next to no cost. Basically, they just need a bit of a nerf for their defense. Ancient Knowledge fixed multiple issues where Inferno and Lightning Staffs were applying to incorrect attack types. Elemental Susceptibility. This morphs. There's no Nightblade changes. They're killing me. This morph's secondary effects are now tracked separately rather than being linked to Major Breach. This will allow the status effects from the ability to continue while multiple applications are active or when other source of Major Breach apply and override this. Reduce the tick frequency to 7.5 seconds down from 6. Wall of Elements. All versions of this ability will now display a hostile telegraph to enemies. Wall of Frost and its morphs will now apply minor breach and reduce the movement speed of enemies by 40% for 4 seconds when damaging a chill target, rather than immobilize them for 4 seconds. Yeah, okay. I understand that. Dual Wield Flurry, fixed an issue where it was audio impacts appear desynced with the animation. Two-Hand Cleave, fixed an issue where sometimes the audio is desynced. Yep. Critical Charge. Stampede fixed an issue where the initial hit of this morph would only guarantee its critical strike against the first target, rather than all targets hit. Note that this guarantee critical still does not apply to the damage over time portion of the ability, which is by design. Uppercut. This morph now grants Major Berserk for 5 seconds. Wrecking Blow is now really good again. Major Berserk for 5 seconds on hit. Jeez. Vampire Misform. There we go. This ability and its morphs are no longer toggled ability that reduce your damage taken from players or grant crowd control immunity while active. Instead, they will now teleport you to a position of your cursor. up to a maximum of 15 meters away and reduce your damage from the next 3 projectiles by 100% while teleporting. Casting any of these abilities will increase the cost of the ability by 33% for 4 seconds. The base cost is 4,050 per cast, which reduces to 3,780 at rank 4 of the base ability. Elusive Mist. This morph now grants Major Expedition and Major Evasion for 4 seconds after reappearing, rather than just Major Expedition. Blood Mist. This morph now causes you to deal damage around you and heal for the damage caused once every 2 seconds over 20 seconds after activating this ability, rather than once every second. Increase the damage by 9%. Okay. So this is like, it's Ball of Lightning for everyone. It's not Streak, it's Ball of Lightning. We have to be careful because those are 2 different things. Because it absorbs the projectiles. It's actually slightly better than Ball of Lightning because it is 3 projectiles versus 1. But that begs a question. Streak. So skills. I'm just looking it up right now. Okay, so Streak is 15 meters, so it is the same range as Streak. It increases the cost the same amount, so it is it's more expensive than Streak, so we'll give it that. And but the Ball of Light, it's basically Ball of Lightning. So oh yeah, at the rank 4, yeah, but it is basically Ball of Lightning. Oh. The question is that, and they're not saying it, is that a magicka cost or a health cost? Because I think it's a health cost, which is a little scarier to use. Imagine ramping up the amount of damage you take and just fucking killing yourself because you cast fucking Mist Form. It does ramp. It says the ability to cost by 33% for 4 seconds. So it's Ball of Lightning, but I think, does it take magic or health? I feel like it takes health. Actually, I can just look. Skill trees, world, vampire, Mistform. Wow, that actually does not help. They don't have the cost on there. Okay, it's a magicka per second. Okay. All right. That's gonna be an interesting change. Werewolf, Piercing Howl, Feeding Frenzy. This energy now grants minor force and empower for 10 seconds rather than only empower for 5. Howl of Despair. This morph now allows the caster to self-synergize Feeding Frenzy. Okay. I don't know how much I like that. Werewolf self-synergizing. And then throwing on the new Harmony. Alright, Trap Beast, this ability and its morph will now only trigger ability timers after they've hit a target rather than after placing the and hitting the target. Strategic Order, Concentrated Barrier, fix an issue with the shield from this passive, could be less half of what it's actually supposed to be. Support, fixed an issue where this ability's morph transferred damage was ability to trigger other conditional requirements. Oh, so guard's a little bugged and they're getting it nerfed. Many distance-based item sets will now properly interact with dragons. Being able to apply to them when other abilities are meeting their range requirements is no longer breaking the active. This applies to a bunch of sets. Cool. Consumables, Glyph of Physical Harm and Glyph of Spell Harm. These enchants will now grant weapon and spell damage rather than only weapon or spell damage. Glyph Physical Harm now adds 10 stamina recovery at all qualities. And oh, cool. So you actually get some recovery. That's cool. So harm glyphs, if you run a couple of them, you can run like the 30 of whatever you want. That's actually kind of useful. Okay, So there's still a reason to pick one or the other because you get a little bit of that recovery. Bloodthirsty now grants up to 210 to 350 weapon and spell damage against enemies under 90, up from 70 to 350. So it's higher and it goes to the same place. So Harmony, this now grants you up to 880 health, magic, and stamina when you activate a synergy per trait, rather than increasing the healing damage and shielding potency of synergies by 20%. So yeah, Harmony's dead. Crimson Oath's Rive, after cracking the code, this set now only fires when you meet its conditions in combat. Iron Blood fixed nothing there. Updated the area of effect to be a 7x5 rectangle rather than cone. Mythic items fixed where the effects can be stuck on your character. Pearls of Ephany, this element grants 3 ultimate when you attempt to cast an ability that consumes resources while under 50% rather than 5. Okay, so Pearls of Ephany got nerfed a little bit. Night Terror fixed in its list as 27 rather than actual up to 10%. Night Terror. Okay. Fixed an issue where this was not acting off the minor resolve, granting the resolving vigor. Okay. Stiggin fixing it out of combat in some cases. Vesture of Darlok's Bane. Fixed an issue with its 4-piece set scaled with Night Terror's quality instead of its own quality. Okay. Sets, crafting economy. Nothing amazing here. Nothing. Antiquities. Fix the leads for some of these aligned ornament. Okay. Okay, some of these are getting some nice buffs. So if you have any left, it'll be good. Some furnishings. So far we're just, I think now we're in like the place Tales of Tribute are now even smarter. Oh cool, first win of the day Gant's experience bonus. Nothing much there. Still just dungeons, art, exploration. A lot of fixes, but I think that's the general gist of it. It's all just questing and UI stuff. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so not a lot of changes. The biggest one being to Vampire, really, for PvP. The new sets and yeah, Vampire, really. So I think Sork is still good. I think the changes actually make Misform weaker, to be honest, because you can't run around forever like people are. I mean, that's the big thing. Right now they use it so they can get to line of sight, whereas now they're not gonna be able to do that as much because you can get it so cheap. Not Endless Fury, you want Mage's Wrath now, because every single part of the AoE on Mage's Wrath is a execute. You have ranged destruction now. You don't have to charge in and spin to win. With a Kvatch and Glad and Endless Fury, fuck, you don't even need to do that. You just need to proc up your Endless Fury to be super dope. You can just stand back and be a fucking ranged cannon now. The howitzer build is back on the goddamn table.